ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Next, continuation to the last class is the larynx. Larynx is also called as voice box because it is useful for the delivering of the sound. It is useful for the delivery of the sound. So that only this is said to be as the voice box. Means nasopharynx gets opens into the larynx. Larynx is the first part of the trachea. Just assume this is the nasal chamber. Again, this is the oral cavity. This is the nasopharynx. Into the nasopharynx, this is the nasal chambers. This is the nasopharynx. These are the internal nostril. Nasal chambers are opens into the nasopharynx through the internal nostrils. Again, nasopharynx spirally opens into the laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx is opens into larynx through the glottis. Again, larynx is opens into trachea. This is the larynx or voice box. This is said to be as the trachea, or this also called as the windpipe. This is said to be as the windpipe. Again, larynx gets opens into laryngopharynx through a opening. This opening is said to be as the glottis. Larynx gets opens into laryngopharynx. This is said to be as the laryngopharynx. Larynx opens into laryngopharynx through the opening that is said to be as the glottis. This glottis is covered with a lid. That lid is said to be as the epiglottis. This is said to be as the epiglottis. This is made up of with elastic cartilage. This epiglottis is principally made up of with elastic cartilage. This is principally prevent entry of the food particle and water into the trachea during the deglutition or during the swallowing of the food material. To prevent the entry of the food and water into the trachea, this epiglottis is a lot useful here. Again, larynx is made up of with 9 cartilages. Larynx is made up of with 9 cartilages. Then what are the 9 cartilages which may be present in larynx? Means 3 are unpaired. One is the thyroid cartilage. This is the single. Second one is the cricoid cartilage. This is also single. Third one is the epiglottis. That's also single. Means these three cartilages are unpaired cartilages, means they are single in number. Again, one pair of arytenoids, they are one pair. One pair of cuneiform cartilages, they also one pair. One pair of corniculate cartilage, they also one pair. Totally these are 6, these are 3, 9 cartilages totally together constitute larynx. Larynx is nothing but cartilaginous box. Principally it is made up of with 9 cartilages. Of that, first one is the thyroid cartilage. This is the largest. This is the largest box. This is the largest cartilage. Second one is the cricoid cartilage. Second one is the cricoid cartilage. Third one is the epiglottis. These 3 are the unpaired cartilages. Arytenoids, cuneiform, corniculate cartilages are the paired in condition. Just assume when we observe the thyroid cartilage like this in larynx, thyroid cartilage form the base and side walls. This is the thyroid cartilage. Thyroid cartilage form the base and side wall. From the ventral side of the thyroid cartilage, this is the ventral surface. From the ventral side of the thyroid cartilage, whatever the cartilage which is gets arises, this is said to be as the epiglottis. Means thyroid cartilage form the base and side wall. From the ventral surface of the thyroid cartilage, epiglottis gets arises. Just assume this is the epiglottis. Again, on dorsal side, one pair of arytenoids. Just assume this is the arytenoid cartilage. One pair of the arytenoid cartilages form the dorsal surface of the larynx. Again, around to this entire, like that of a rubber band, circular cartilage which is present, that circular cartilage is said to be as the cricoid cartilage. Around to this entire, whatever the circular cartilage which is present, that circular cartilage is said to be as the cricoid cartilage. Again, one pair of the cartilages are present to support to thyroid anteriorly, like this. On both sides laterally, one pair of the cartilages which may be provide the support to the thyroid are said to be as the cuneiform. One pair of the cartilages which provide the support to the thyroid posteriorly are said to be as the corniculate. Means thyroid is the largest, that form the floor and side walls. From the ventral surface of the thyroid, epiglottis gets arises. Dorsally, one pair of the arytenoid cartilages are present. Arytenoid cartilages are present. Again, around to this entire setup, single circular cartilage which is present, that is said to be as the cricoid cartilage. Anteriorly, to provide the support to thyroid, one pair of the cartilages which may be present like that of a pillar, that is said to be as the cuneiform. Similarly, posteriorly also, one pair of the cartilages which may be provide the support to the thyroid on both sides, they are said to be as the corniculate cartilages. Again, between the arytenoid and thyroid, between the arytenoid and thyroid, the space which is present, in this space two mucus or two densely irregular connective tissue foldings are present, means between the arytenoids and thyroid two cord-like structures which may be present. That cord-like structures are said to be as the vocal cords. These are principally made up of with the densely irregular connective tissue. These are principally useful for the delivering of sound. Means the location of the vocal cord is between the arytenoids and the thyroid. Specifically between the arytenoids and thyroid, whatever the space is present, in this particular space one pair of the vocal cords are present. This vocal cords principally made up of with densely irregular connective tissue. Specifically, vocal cords are useful for delivering of this sound. Means how they may be involved in the delivering of the sound means during the expiration they shows the vibration. Due to that kind of the vibration only sound is gets delivered. During the expiration definitely vocal cords may be shows the vibration. By that way only sound is gets delivered. This vocal cords are longer and thicker in males because of due to the testosterone effect, due to the male sex hormone effect, that is the testosterone effect. Definitely vocal cords in the case of the male person are longer and thicker, so that only they shows the vibration very slowly, so that only voice which is produced in the case of the male person is with low pitch. Definitely in the case of the male, low pitch voice is gets delivered because this kind of the vocal cords are longer and thicker. They shows this very slowly vibrations, so that only voice is with the low pitch. But in the case of the female, vocal cords are small, they are thin in the case of the females. In the case of the male children also. In the case of the male children as well as in female, these vocal cords are small and thin, so that only they maybe shows the fastest vibration. By that way, high pitch voice is delivered. Definitely, high pitch voice is gets delivered in the case of the male children's as well as in the case of the females also high pitch voice is gets delivered. Means in the case of the male child up to 14th year this high pitch voice is gets delivered, but during the 14th age this testosterone hormone is gets releases into the body of the child, male child. Due to the influence of the testosterone hormone, vocal cords may become thicker and longer. By that way, voice changes appears in the case of the male child at the age of the 14th year. Means voice change is secondary sexual character in the case of the male person. Until puberty age, that is the 14th year, in male child, voice is with a high pitch voice, but after 14th year that high pitch voice is gradually transformed into the low pitch voice, because at the age of the 14th year male sex hormone, that is the testosterone, is gets releases. Due to the influence of the testosterone, this vocal cords are becomes thicker and longer. By that way they starts a slow vibration. By that way gradually low pitch voices appears in the case of the male person. Again, in the case of the human, on ventral side of the thyroid cartilage, a apple-like prominence, a apple-like outgrowth which is appears. This is the apple-like prominence. This apple-like prominence is said to be as the Adam's apple. This is said to be as the Adam's apple. Means on the ventral side of the thyroid, this is the Adam's apple. On ventral side of the thyroid, whatever the apple-like outgrowth which is appears, that apple-like outgrowth is said to be as the Adam's apple. Again, just assume this is the arytenoid, this is the thyroid. Between these two, these are the vocal cords. So this is the arytenoid, this is the thyroid. Between these two, these are the vocal cords. The space which is present between the vocal cords and arytenoid, the space which is present between the vocal cords and arytenoid, that space is said to be as the remaglottides. That is said to be as the remaglottides. Space which is present between the vocal cords and arytenoid, space which is present between the arytenoids and vocal cord is said to be as the remaglottides. Again, this larynx gets opens into trachea. Larynx gets opens into trachea. Just assume this is the larynx, this is the trachea, this is the epiglottis, this is the epiglottis, this is the glottis. This entire is the larynx, this is the glottis, this is the epiglottis. Again, this is the trachea. This is the trachea or windpipe, because this is principally useful for inhalation of air or exhalation of air. Means through that kind of the trachea, air is passes towards the lung. Again, from the lung, air is releases to the atmosphere. So that only that is said to be as the windpipe. Trachea is also called as the windpipe. What is the position of the trachea? What is the position of the trachea in our body means? Trachea is always lies ventral to the esophagus. Just assume in our body, this is the trachea, this is the esophagus. If we are stands like this, definitely this is the trachea, this is the esophagus. Means trachea is always lies ventrally. Esophagus is always lies dorsally. This is the dorsal side of the body, this is the ventral side of the body. In our body, this is ventral surface, this is the dorsal surface. In this particular case, this is the trachea, this is the esophagus. Means always trachea lies ventral to esophagus, or esophagus lies dorsal to trachea. This is the trachea, this is the trachea, this is the esophagus. Means always trachea lies ventral to the esophagus. Again, this trachea is supported with C-shaped cartilaginous rings. These are the cartilaginous rings. These are the cartilaginous rings. These are principally made up of hyaline cartilage. These are principally made up of hyaline cartilage. What is the use of this C-shaped cartilaginous rings means? They provide the support to the trachea. They prevent the collapse of the trachea in absence of air. Whenever the air is not present in the trachea, to prevent its collapse, to prevent the collapse of that kind of the trachea, these cartilaginous rings are useful. Then these cartilaginous rings are incomplete towards the esophagus, that is towards the dorsal, it is incomplete. Just assume this is the esophagus, this is the trachea. Means towards the esophagus, that is the dorsal. This is the ventral, this is the dorsal. Towards the esophagus, that is the dorsal. C-shaped cartilaginous rings are incomplete. Means like this. These are look like this. Towards the esophagus they maybe gets incomplete. Means towards the dorsal they are incomplete. Again they provide the support to the trachea. They prevent the collapse of the trachea in absence of air. Again, in addition to the cartilaginous ring, in the wall of trachea, pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. What kind of the epithelium is present in the wall of the trachea means pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. Pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cell. With goblet cell is present in the wall of the trachea. What is the use of the goblet cell means? They principally useful for the secretion of the mucus. That mucus is principally useful for the trapping of the foreign particle during the inspiration. Along with the cilia, this mucus substance which is secreted from the goblet cell is useful for the trapping of the foreign particle. For that purpose, definitely in wall of the trachea, pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium is present with the goblet cell. Again, this trachea passes through the neck and passes through the mid-thoracic cavity up to the 5th thoracic vertebrae level. Up to the 5th thoracic vertebrae level means up to this trachea passes through the neck and thoracic cavity. at the fifth thoracic vertebral level, means this is the fifth thoracic vertebral level, where the trachea is gets divides into two branches. Means trachea is gets divides into two branches in mid of thoracic cavity at the level of fifth thoracic vertebrae. At the level of fifth thoracic vertebrae, at fifth thoracic vertebral level, that will be gets divides into two branches. Each and every branch is said to be as the primary bronchi. That is said to be as the primary bronchi. Means trachea is reaches to the mid thoracic cavity through the neck, and at the level of the fifth thoracic vertebrae, that will be gets divides into two primary bronchi. Each and every primary bronchi is entered into respective side of the lung. Means left side of the primary bronchi is opens into the left side of the lung. Right side of the primary bronchi is gets opens into the right side of the lung. Means this is the right side of the lung. Means definitely right side of the primary bronchi is opens into the right side of the lung. Left side of the primary bronchi is gets opens into left side of the lung. Again, inside of each and every lung, this primary bronchi again starts dividing into branches. Definitely inside of each and every side of the lung, primary bronchi again starts dividing into branches. That branches are said to be as the secondary bronchi. That is the secondary bronchi. Again, secondary bronchi divides and form the branches. That is said to be as the tertiary bronchi. Again, tertiary bronchi divides and form the branches. That is the primary branchiole. This is the primary branchiole. Again, primary branchiole divides and form the branches. They are the secondary branchiole. Again, secondary branchioles divides and form the branches. They are the tertiary branchioles. Tertiary branchioles again divides and form the branches. They are the terminal branchioles. They are the terminal branchioles. Again, terminal branchioles divides and form the branches. They are the respiratory branchiole. This is the respiratory branchioles. Again, respiratory branchioles divides and form the branches. They are the alveolar ducts. These are the alveolar ducts. Each and every alveolar duct is terminated with alveolar sac. This is the alveolar sacs. In alveolar sac, alveoli are present. Maybe gets formed in the case of the each and every lung by repeated divisions of primary bronchi, means on entering the primary bronchi into respective side of the lung, primary bronchi divides into branches. They are the secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi later divides to form the tertiary bronchi. Tertiary bronchi later gets divides to form the primary bronchiole. Primary bronchiole divides to form the secondary bronchiole. Secondary bronchioles divides to form the tertiary bronchiole. Tertiary bronchioles divides to form the terminal bronchiole. Terminal bronchioles divides to form the respiratory bronchiole. Respiratory bronchioles are divides and form the alveolar ducts. Each and every alveolar duct is terminated with the alveolar sac. In alveolar sac, alveoli are present. They are the functional site. They principally useful for the exchange of the respiratory gases. Specifically, alveoli are useful for exchange of the respiratory gases. Here very important objective question is that what is the sequence of various ducts which maybe gets formed from the trachea towards the alveoli, means what is the sequence of the various ducts which maybe gets formed from the trachea towards the alveoli, means trachea is at first gets divides into primary bronchi. Primary bronchi is entered into the each and every side of the lung. Later that divides to form the secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi form the tertiary bronchi. Tertiary bronchi form the primary bronchiole. Primary bronchiole form the secondary bronchiole. Secondary bronchiole form the tertiary bronchiole. Tertiary bronchiole form the terminal bronchiole. Terminal bronchiole form the respiratory bronchiole. Respiratory bronchioles form the alveolar duct. Each and every alveolar duct is terminated with the alveolar sac. In each and every alveolar sac, alveoli are present. Here you should remember here that diameter is gradually decreases from the trachea towards the alveolar duct. Diameter gradually decreases from the trachea towards that kind of the alveolar duct up to primary bronchiole. C-shaped cartilaginous rings are present to provide the support here. Definitely C-shaped cartilaginous rings are present not only in the case of the trachea. C-shaped cartilaginous rings are present in the trachea, primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, in primary bronchiole. Up to primary bronchiole only this C-shaped cartilaginous rings are present, but not in the secondary bronchiole, tertiary bronchiole, terminal bronchiole, respiratory bronchiole. That kind of the C-shaped cartilaginous rings are not present. In each and every lung, this entire setup is look like as inverted branching of a tree, inverted state of branching of a tree. So this entire setup is said to be as the pulmonary tree. This entire setup is said to be as the pulmonary tree or respiratory tree. Definitely in each and every lung, this branching of primary bronchi into various is similar to inverted state of the branching of a tree. So that only that is said to be as the pulmonary tree or respiratory tree. Again, definitely when we observe the alveoli, Alveoli are principal site for exchange of the respiratory gases. Each and every alveoli, just assume this is the alveolus. Singular is alveolus, plural word is the alveoli. Definitely this wall of the alveoli is made up of with the simple squamous epithelium. This wall of the each and every alveoli is made up of with the simple squamous epithelium. This is made up of with the simple squamous epithelium. So that only wall of the alveolus is very thin. That is useful for the exchange of the respiratory gases such as the CO2 and O2. Again, in wall of the alveolus, two types of the cells are present. One is the type 1 alveolar cell. Second one is the type 2 alveolar cell. Definitely in the wall of the alveoli, two types of the cells are present. One is said to be as the type 1 alveolar cell. Second one is said to be as the type 2 alveolar cell. Type 1 alveolar cell. Type 1 alveolar cell. Second type of the cells are type 2 alveolar cells. Definitely type 1 alveolar cell, type 2 alveolar cells are present in the wall of the alveolus. Type 2 alveolar cells principally secrete alveolar fluid. Type 2 alveolar cells secrete the alveolar fluid into the alveolus cavity. Just assume this is the alveolar cavity. Into the alveolar cavity, alveolar fluid is secreted by type 2 alveolar cell. This alveolar fluid is rich with surfactant substance. This is rich with surfactant substance. This surfactant substance always decreases surface tension of the alveolar fluid. By that way, collapse of this alveolus gets prevented. Collapse of the alveolus is prevented because of due to the presence of the surfactant substance only. Means alveolar type 2 alveolar cells always secrete the alveolar fluid. This alveolar fluid is with the surfactant substance. Surfactant substance reduces surface tension of alveolar fluid. By that way, collapsing of alveoli gets prevented due to the reducing of the surface tension of the alveolar fluid by the surfactant substance. In addition to that kind of the alveolar type 1, type 2 alveolar cells, alveolar macrophages also present for the engulfing of the pathogens which may be reaches into the lung along with the inspirated air. In addition to that, definitely alveolar macrophages also present. Alveolar macrophages also present for engulfing of disease causing organism or for engulfing of the pathogens which may be reaches into the lung along with the inspirated air. Then how many number of alveoli are present totally in both sides of the lung of the person means 300 millions of alveoli totally present. 300 millions of alveoli are totally present in the both sides of the lung of the person means in one lung about 150 millions of the alveoli are present. Totally this 300 millions of alveoli can provide 70 meter square surface area for exchange of the respiratory gases means both sides of the 300 millions of the alveoli can provide about 70 meter square surface area for exchange of the respiratory gases. Next to lungs. Next one is the lung. When we observe the lung of the person, when we observe the lungs, one pair of the lungs are present. One pair of the lungs are present in thoracic cavity on either side of the heart. On either side of the heart, one pair of the pink colored lungs are present in thoracic cavity on either side of the heart. When we observe the lung, this right side of the lung is big in size when compared to the left side of the lung. Right side of the lung is big in size when compared to the left side of the lung. This is the right side of the lung. Right side of the lung is with 3 lobes, but left side of the lung is with only 2 lobes. This is the right lung, this is the left lung. Right side of the lung is with 3 lobes, left side of the lung is with only 2 lobes. This is the superior lobe. This is the superior lobe. This is the median lobe. This is the inferior lobe. In the right side of the lung, definitely 3 lobes are present. This is the superior lobe, this is the median lobe, this is the inferior lobe. In the case of the left side of the lung, only 2 lobes are present. This is the superior lobe. This is the inferior lobe. This is the right lung. This is the right lung. This is the left lung. In the right lung, only 3 lobes are present. In the left lung, 2 lobes are present. Due to that reason, right lung is big in size when compared to the left lung. Around to that, each and every lung bilayered protective membrane is present. Bilayered protective membrane is present. That bilayered protective membrane is said to be as the pleura. This is said to be as the pleura. Around to each and every side of the lung, bilayered protective membrane which is present, that is said to be as the pleura. Of this pleura, outer layer is said to be as the parietal layer, inner layer is said to be as the visceral layer. Outermost layer which is present in the pleura is said to be as the parietal pleura. Innermost layer which is present, that is said to be as the visceral pleura. In this case, just assume this is the visceral flora, this is the parietal flora, this is the visceral flora, this is the visceral flora, this is the parietal flora. These two together called as the flora of this. Visceral flora is very close to surface of lung. Visceral flora is very close to surface of lung, but parietal flora is very close to the inner surface of thoracic cavity. Just assume this is the inner surface of the thoracic cavity. Means this parietal flora is very closely contacted to the inner surface of the thoracic cavity. Again, this visceral flora is attached to the surface of the lung. Means visceral flora is attached to the surface of lung. Parietal flora is attached to the inner surface of the thoracic cavity. Between these two, whatever the fluid which is present, that is said to be as the pleural fluid. This is the pleural fluid. Specifically between these two layers, between the visceral flora and the parietal flora, whatever the fluid which is present, that is said to be as the pleural fluid. That pleural fluid principally useful to reduce the friction between these two layers during the working of the lung. This pleural fluid principally reduces the friction between these two layers for easy inspiration as well as the expiration. Again, these lungs are located in thoracic chamber. Definitely lungs are located in thoracic chamber on either side of the heart. In thoracic chamber they may be located. That is essential. That kind of the anatomical setup is essential for getting the inspiration and the expiration without getting any defect, for getting the respiratory movement, for getting the breathing continuously without getting any defect. Lungs must be located in thoracic chamber only. Again, when we observe the thoracic chamber, this thoracic chamber is also called as airtight chamber. Thoracic chamber is also called as the airtight chamber because it is dorsally bounded with the vertebral column, ventrally with the sternum, laterally with the rib, posteriorly with the dome-shaped diaphragm. Definitely thoracic chamber is also called as the airtight chamber because it is dorsally bounded with the vertebral column, ventrally with the sternum, laterally with the ribs, posteriorly with the dome-shaped diaphragm. By that way, this thoracic chamber is said to be as the airtight chamber. Means in the case of the thoracic chamber, definitely dorsally it is bounded with the vertebral column, ventrally with the sternum, laterally with the ribs, posteriorly with the diaphragm. Dome shaped diaphragm is present ventrally, means Definitely this thoracic chamber is also called as the aortic chamber because it is dorsally bounded with the vertebral column, ventrally with the sternum, laterally with the rib, posteriorly with the dome-shaped diaphragm. Due to that reason only this thoracic chamber is said to be as the aortic chamber. Definitely whenever the changes occurs in the thoracic volume, that must be shows its influence over the lung volume. Means if in the case in thoracic volume is decreases, pressure over the lung is gets increases, by that way lung volume is also gets decreases. Otherwise, if the thoracic volume is increases, pressure over the lung which is applied is decreases, by that way lung volume is gets increases. Just assume this is the thoracic chamber, this is the thoracic chamber. If thoracic chamber volume is decreases, pressure over the lung is gets increases, by that way lungs are gets constricted, by that way lung volume is gets decreases. Otherwise, if the thoracic volume is gets increases, pressure which is applied over the lung is gets decreases, by that way lungs are relaxed, by that way lung volume is gets increases. Means always thoracic volume is directly proportional to lung volume. Thoracic cavity volume is directly proportional to lungs volume. Means if the thoracic cavity volume is gets increases, automatically lungs volume is increases. If the thoracic cavity volume is decreases, lungs volume is gets decreases. Means never directly lungs volume is independently altered, never directly lungs volume is does not get changes independently without getting changing the thoracic volume. Means always thoracic volume if it is gets altered, always thoracic volume if it is gets changes, then only that must be shows reflect over the change of the volume of the lung. Without getting changing of thoracic volume, lungs volume never gets changes independently. Lungs do not have the capacity to alter its volume independently without getting changing thoracic volume. So that only due to any reason, if the thoracic volume is gets thoracic cavities gets punctured, due to any reason, if the thoracic cavity is gets punctured, definitely without getting affecting of lung also person may be leads to death. Here very important neat objective question is that due to any reason, if the diaphragm is gets punctured, then without affecting the lung, what would be happen to that kind of the person is the question. Here very important concept, very important question over that kind of the thoracic chamber concept is that without getting effect of lung, if the diaphragm is gets punctured, then what happened to the person is the question. Just assume this is the thoracic chamber, thoracic cavity, these are the lungs. Due to any reason to this kind of the diaphragm, if puncturing is occurs due to any reason, without getting damaging of lung, what would be happen to that kind of the person means person immediately leads to death. Why the person is leads to death means if diaphragm is gets punctured, then this thoracic cavity volume is not gets altered. thoracic cavity volume is not gets changes. So that only that may not be causes any effect over the change in the lung volume. By that way, lungs may not be gets recoil, lungs may not be gets contracted. By that way, person immediately leads to death due to the stopping of the inspiration and expiration. Means by this way we can say lungs do not have the independent capacity to alter its volume. Always lung volume is depends upon the altering of the lung volume is depends upon the change in the thoracic cavity volume only. If thoracic cavity volume is gets increases, lung volume is increases. If thoracic cavity volume is decreases, lung volume is gets decreases. So that only we can say one important statement: thoracic cavity volume is directly proportional to lungs volume. Definitely lungs do not have any capacity, lungs do not have any capacity to alter its volume independently. Always lung volume altering is depends upon the thoracic cavity volume altering only. Next, definitely just before going to the mechanism of the breathing, what are the steps in the respiration of a healthy person?